Hey there guys, Travis here. Today I'm back with another video, and in today's video I thought it'd be fun to actually just sit down and rank all the different Pokemon games. I had a lot of fun ranking all the zombies maps and a lot of fun making a Pokemon video, so I thought it might be, a good idea to kind of combine all of them. I've been playing Pokemon for, essentially my entire childhood. I started when I was 10, so... Actually no, I started when I was 8, so I've been playing Pokemon for 10 years now. I actually hit my 10-year Pokemon anniversary a couple months ago, so yeah. Without further ado, let's get into the video though. Alright, today, with the first place I'm actually gonna do something a little bit controversial, because I know these fans have had a lot of games. Pokemon Black and Pokemon White are going into the D tier. Now I know it's probably gonna piss some people off, but oh well. Yeah, it's weird, right? The Black and White games were some of my first Pokemon games. I think they were my third ever Pokemon games, but they really haven't aged well for me. Um, First off, I really don't like any of the Pokemon designs. I used to like some of them when I was younger. Like I remember, I used to really like the Oshawott line, but that's severely like they're not really as high up as they used to be. I actively dislike Samurott now, whereas Oshawott and Duwott are just kind of like okay Pokemon. There's really not many Pokemon I like. Superior is okay. He's the only starter out of all 9 that I like. Zekrom and Reshiram are pretty cool. Crocodile's pretty cool. Haxorus is pretty cool. Hydreigon's okay. Chandelure's pretty cool. That's really about it, to be honest. Excadrill's kind of cool. There's not like a whole lot. And then every other Pokemon in that game, I tend to kind of dislike them. There's a lot of Pokemon in that game that I really don't like. I don't really like the characters either. Cheren and Bianca are some of the worst rivals, I think. Alda's a pretty garbo champion. N's okay. I think N's pretty redeeming. So's Getsus. He's pretty cool. But I think that's really it for the characters that I actually like. I don't mind the design for like the protagonists. They're kind of cool, but they're not really characters, are they? Jupiter, Professor Jupiter is just kind of whatever. I think the story is really good. To be honest, I think like the story is probably one of the best Pokemon stories, if not the best Pokemon story. But the story alone and having everything else be kind of garbage is not really enough for me. So yeah, unfortunately, Black and White are going to be D tier. For the Unova fans, I will throw you a bone though. Once I find where the hell Black and White 2 actually are. Hold on, give me a sec. I cannot find them. Okay, found them. So Black 2 and White 2 are actually going to go into C tier. Black 2 and White 2, I think are just better Black and Whites, right? First of all, I will say you're not locked to just Unova Pokemon. That was a huge thing for me. The fact that you can play through the game with an Ampharos or any evolution. I actually really like how you can get the evolutions by the third gym. Where the little Eevee Grotto is, the fact that, you can get Arcanine, all sorts of things. Kind of just a cool thing, kind of saves the game a bit for me. I really like Cynthia being in the game, that's really cool. I think I actually prefer... I don't know, the story is also really good in Black and White too. I don't know if I prefer it or not. I definitely prefer how the grunts look. The grunts look really fucking goofy in Black and White too, and I think they're just like 10 times better in the sequel games. I think the scene where that 8th gym, Dragon Town, gets frozen is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to say about Black and White 2. I think they're just an improvement over Black and White, and they're enough to get like C tier. But I still don't really love them. They're just kind of like okay games. Alright, now that we have the controversial ones out the way, we're actually going to do Red and Blue now. Red and Blue are really weird because obviously they're really old games. So I'm going to rank them fairly amongst the other ones. I'm gonna chuck them in C tier, but I'm gonna chuck them in C tier below Black and White 2. I don't think many things are gonna be beneath Red and Blue, right? Like, Red and Blue are not great games just because of how they're old, but by the fact that I still prefer the characters, I prefer the Pokemon, I prefer the region, I'm still gonna put them over Black and White, because even though they're really old, I still will have more fun playing Red and Blue than Black and White. I'm not really going to talk too much about Red and Blue here, because I'm going to talk more about Kanto with Fire Red and Live Green. So yeah, just Red and Blue are just they're the original games. They've aged really poorly. They're just going to go C tier. I don't think there's any other issue with that. Okay, moving on, we're going to do Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Now, full disclosure, I've actually only played Crystal. So we're gonna like make that, just put that out there. I think I'm gonna put Gold, Silver, and Crystal in. I think we put them in B tier. I think they're mainly B tier. I put Crystal just at the front. They're mainly in B tier because again, they're just really, really old. I think they improve on Red and Blue in a fuck ton of ways. I think obviously having Kanto towards as the second region is like obviously going to give them huge bonus points. Having Red and all that is just incredible. I think Johto as a region is overall just really, really, really good. But the games have aged so much that I can't really put them anywhere higher than B. They're definitely nowhere near as buggy and nowhere near as old as Red and Blue. So I think B tier is a good place to put, the original Gold, Silver, and Crystal games. Starter Pokemon are good, characters are great, the region's overall great. Literally, the only issue is that they're old, so they're going to go B tier. Now that we've done the original games, I may as well actually put in the remakes, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver are going straight to S tier. I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the best games in the Pokemon franchise. I just think that wholeheartedly. I went through a phase actually, because these games were my first ever Pokemon games. I played Heart Gold as my first ever game, and I chose a Totodile, and I still have that Totodile to this day. And I actually went through a phase where Johto was my least favorite game and region when I was a little bit younger, but in the last about year or two, maybe 3, I think they've shot back up to the fact that I think they're definitely my favorite games. Yeah. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are just absolutely incredible. They're the pinnacle of Pokemon. I think a lot of people agree with that, especially the walking behind you feature. That shit's incredible. I love all of Johto. I love the atmosphere of Johto so fucking much, with all the old spiritual places and towers and the autumn leaves in Ecruteak City, for example. I love how Violet City looks. I love a lot of the characters. Faulkner's really cool. Morty's really cool. Lance is really cool. Claire's kind of cool. The Dragon Den area is really great. The Kimono girls are cool. Obviously you have all of Kanto. Like I kind of say with Gold, Crystal, and Silver, which are just incredible. I think, without a doubt, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are just the best games. A huge reason for that is I think the atmosphere is incredible of the actual game. I think the map layout is incredible. I think Johto probably has my favorite map layout in all of the Pokemon games. I think they're actually really, 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 really good. Love how that plays out. All the starters are great. Yeah, it's hard for me to really talk about this because they're incredible games, and it's hard for me to really unpack why they're so good because it just like everything in the game works so well. So I'm gonna stop saying and I'm just gonna leave them in S tier. I think they're the best Pokemon games. I'm not gonna, nothing's gonna beat those. I'm gonna put that there real quick. Okay, now that we've done the Johto remakes, we're actually gonna do the Kanto remakes, which we probably should have done before, to be honest. But I think we're going to put Fire Red and Leaf Green in A tier. I think Kanto is a really great region. Kanto does have some drawbacks, right? Like, I'll be honest when I say I think my favorite Pokemon primarily come from Kanto. But I think the region and the layout is actually pretty poor. Like, if you think of the layout of Kanto, I think it's actually pretty garbage. You pretty much just have a big straight line from Pallet Town to Pewter. Then you go through a really boring cave, then you get to Cerulean City, which is laid out really weirdly. Then you essentially just go on a really big square, because you can't really get to Saffron. But even then, once you can get to Saffron, it's essentially just a really big chunk of like square at the top right. It's really weird, to be honest. I'm not really a huge fan of the layout of the games, and that really actually tanks it pretty hard. I think if the layout were better, it would be S tier. I also don't like the atmosphere quite as much. I do like the atmosphere of Kanto, but there's a little bit too much. There's too much caves, in all honesty. I think that's a big reason why Kanto is tanked for me. There's like 3 different caves you have to go through in the main story, and that's just too much for me. Overall, Kanto's great. You got Mewtwo, you got Red, you got Blue, you got Professor Oak. Some of the best characters in the game, some of the best Pokemon in the game. I think the starter trio is amazing. Charizard's my favorite Pokemon in the game. So obviously, Charizard's going to be up there. Some of the other Kanto Pokemon that are my favorites, like Jolteon, Squirtle, Pikachu, I really love a lot of the Kanto Pokemon. So I think that's going to definitely help put Kanto up top with Fire Red Leaf Green. But yeah, I think Fire Red Leaf Green are really, really solid games, and they just are unfortunately a little bit worse in the way the region is laid out, but that comes more from Red and Blue rather than the actual remakes themselves. So they're gonna sit in A tier. All right, next we have Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and I'm a bit iffy to where I'm gonna place these. It's actually, yeah, no, it's really hard for me to place these, especially because it's been a long time since I played Ruby and Sapphire, and I know there's a lot of differences between Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. I think I'm going to chuck Ruby and Sapphire in A tier, but I'm going to chuck them behind Fire Red Leaf Green. I do love the whole region as a whole. I just think that there's a few flaws with the region. First of all, while I really like some of the Pokemon, like Swampert, Sceptile, Kyogre, and the other legendaries, Salamence, Glalie, Metagross, they're all incredible Pokemon. There's just not quite enough really good Pokemon compared to some other regions that it ends up being a bit of instead of like an insanely good region for Pokemon, it's just kind of like a good to great region. I think that tanks it a bit. The layout of the region is okay, but I will admit I think there's just way too much water. Like unironically, I know that's a meme. There is just like a bit too much water, to be honest, and I kind of wish the mainland was a bit bigger. I get what they were trying to do, obviously, though, with the whole water-earth balance thing, but it is just a bit too much. And I think the characters are pretty great, I will say. Steven's cool. Birch is cool. I think a lot of the gym leaders are, they're pretty good. None of them are really insane, but they're pretty good. And then Team Aqua and Team Magma are weird because, funnily enough, I like the grunts, I think, more than the leaders. I think the leaders are a little bit, lacking, but I think the grunts are pretty good. The real problem I'm having is I don't know where I want to put Emerald. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to put Emerald S tier. But I don't know. Maybe I should put it S tier. I don't really know if I prefer Emerald over Fire Red or Leaf Green. It's really, really hard. Actually, if I put Emerald in A, Ruby, Sapphire have to go down to B. Yeah, I'm really thinking about it, and as much as I prefer Emerald, I like Emerald, I think I prefer Fire Red, Leaf Green. So I think I'm going to put Emerald A, and then I think Ruby and Sapphire are going to go B tier. I think that's how we're going to do it, to be honest. Emerald's great, obviously, the storyline, everything about Emerald, it's just an improved version of Ruby Sapphire. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I think everyone gets that, Emerald's just an upgraded version, the same way Diamond, Pearl, Platinum is just like, Platinum's an upgraded version of that. Speaking of which, we're actually going to do those now. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, I think I'm going to go on A tier. Diamond was my second ever Pokemon game, and then when my Diamond version broke, I bought Platinum as my third ever game, and Diamond, Pearl are great, obviously. I think they have a few things that hold it back, specifically how slow the game is for Diamond and Pearl. Platinum fixes that a little bit, not quite, but a little bit. I also think that kind of only having either Dialga or Palkia is a really big drawback. I don't know why I don't have that feeling as much with Ruby and Sapphire. I feel like only having one of the legendaries there isn't as big of a deal, but in Diamond and Pearl, it just feels so obvious that Giratina is meant to be there, and that Diamond, I don't know why. Maybe that's just because I remember playing Platinum, but that just seems really obvious to me. I also really dislike the UI for Pearl and Diamond when you're actually in battles. That shit's kind of annoying. And I don't like how the only fire type is Infernape. Thankfully, that doesn't bother me, because my favorite Pokemon out of the Sinnoh games is Infernape, so that's fine. That doesn't bother me. But I think Diamond and Pearl are going to stay there. I'll talk a little bit more about the positives of the Sinnoh regions with Platinum, because Platinum's actually going to go to S tier. Platinum's going to go underneath Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and above Fire Red, Leaf Green. Platinum's incredible, right? Obviously, Sinnoh has some of the best Pokemon. Electivire, Infernape, Torterra, Staraptor, Garchomp, Gliscor. Some just really, really cool Pokemon. I will say the Piplup line is a little bit lacking for me. I really like Piplup. I don't like Prinplup, and then Empoleon is just kind of... Actually, Empoleon's okay. I don't mind Empoleon. But overall, I think everyone can agree the Sinnoh region is great. I will say the Team Plasma is a little bit weird because Team Plasma themselves are just really fucking goofy. They're even more goofy than Plasma, and I kind of hate them for that. But I do like Cyrus. Cyrus is the best in any best final boss of any Pokemon game, I think, with the only exception being maybe Giovanni. Actually, maybe Getsus. Getsus is kind of cool. I don't really know. I actually, you know what? I'll say I think I prefer Getsus over Cyrus. No, I would say Cyrus best, then Getsus, then Giovanni. That's how I'd put it. But unfortunately, Giovanni is just like, I mean, unfortunately, Getsus is just kind of in a bad game. The Distortion World's incredible. Don't think I need to tell anyone about that. Cynthia is obviously great. The rest of the Elite Four was lacking a little bit, but honestly, no Elite Four is perfect. I think Cynthia is so good that, you know, it makes it automatically one of the best Elite Four. I love how, again, there's a lot of variety of Pokemon. You can, especially one thing that I really appreciate in these games is how you can get Eevee in Heart Home City. I think that's huge. I think any game, in all honesty, because of how much I like Eevee and the Eeveelutions, I love all of them, especially, you know, Umbreon, Espeon, Jolteon. I think any game that gives me Eevee earlier on is going to be higher up. That's why Platinum's an S. That's why I really like Platinum. I really like Heart Gold. Really like Fire Red. Really like that you can, like, Black and White is above D because of no, but obviously I'm going a little bit too far into this, right? Like, these aren't, I'm not putting these games in S tier because you can get an Eevee, right? But I think it just helps me a little bit. Like, it makes me like enjoy playing through the game a little bit more just because there's so many different things you can do with Eevee. In fact, I just like games where you're not really region locked to Pokemon. I like games where you can find a lot of different Pokemon. Obviously, the big exception there being Fire Red, Leaf Green having only Kanto Pokemon, but, you know, the Kanto Pokemon is so solid, that's fine anyway. Yeah, Platinum's great. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Platinum's just insane. Actually, I only just noticed there's actually 2 red and blues. That's actually kind of funny. They're Japanese versions, and they have the English versions. Okay, now next up we have Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. This is interesting to me. I think I'm gonna put Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby in S tier. I think I'm gonna put them above Emerald. I feel like I'm sleeping on Emerald too much, but I know I prefer Fire Red and Leaf Green over Emerald, and I know Fire Red and Leaf Green is an S tier. Alpha Omega and Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, they're the pinnacle horror games. I think everyone can agree with that. You know, you get Mega Evolution in them, you get the crazy fun primals, you get, you know, an upgraded version of Maxie and the other guy and their grunts. Their grunts are a lot cooler, especially the Team Aqua chick. I can't remember what her name is, but she's a lot cooler in those games. The Delta Z episode's incredible. Love that. Also, you do get Steven as the champion, whereas Emerald you get I forget his name, the water type guy. The fact that I've forgotten his name, I think it's like Juan or something. I don't really remember. The fact that I forget his name kind of shows that. I think Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby are just easily the best, you know, Emerald variants. Also, they're newer versions. You know, Emerald's like 17, 18 years old, whereas Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby came out 2014. Obviously, just being a newer game is just going to help you. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about that. I think Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby are just really good games. Okay, next up we have another take that might be a little bit hot. There's actually a few hot takes here. I actually really like Pokemon X and Y, in all honesty. I'm going to say that right now. I'm actually thinking about... So, Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby... X and Y are going A tier. They're above Diamond Pearl. I know that. I'm trying to figure out if they're above Emerald. Okay, you know what? No, they're above Emerald. They're above Emerald. But are they above Fire Red, Leaf Green? That's the tricky bit. That's... I don't know, to be honest. I think we're going to put them here. I think that's an okay spot. Obviously, Mega Evolution is a fantastic addition to the game. I love, especially because I'm a really big Kanto fan. I love that you can get the Kanto starters in this game for 2 reasons. Not only do I, as like a younger kid, I didn't have a Game Boy, I couldn't play Fire Red, Leaf Green, so being able to choose a Kanto starter was great. Also, being the only game in the franchise when you can have 2 starters on your team is incredible. Love that. That's really cool. I think there's a few drawbacks, obviously. I think the game is a little bit easy. Specifically the Elite Four and Champion. I think they're a bit too easy. Team Flare is very mediocre, right? I think people who shit talk Team Flare too much and then rave on about how good Team Plasma are kind of clowns, to be honest, because Team Flare and Team Plasma are equally as fucking goofy. Literally, the only good thing about Team Plasma is the whole like N and gets us shit. Regular Team Plasma is kind of garbage, same way regular Team Galactic kind of is garbage. So that doesn't really tank X and Y for me too much. Obviously, Lysander could be better, but him not being the greatest, him just kind of being mediocre, really doesn't hurt too much for me. Like if I really cared about the boss villains, I don't think Alpha Sapphire and Mega Ruby would be as high. They'd probably be an A tier. Like look, my favorite Pokemon games don't even have a really big boss. You know, you just have like the Rocket. I don't even remember the names of the big bad guys in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I just know they're some Team Rocket generals, right? I don't really care too much about evil teams, to be honest with you. Maybe that's another reason why I don't think too highly of Black and White, because it's like too story driven or some shit. I really don't know. But yeah, you know, I love X and Y. I definitely love the setting. That's another thing. I think behind Heart Gold and Soul Silver, X and Y definitely have the best settings in the game. The region itself is just beautiful. Like everything, like, you know, it's all based on France and shit. Shit's just incredible. I know this might be a bit of a hot take because people don't like X and Y because they're too easy. I'll be honest, I don't really care too much for Pokemon games, hard or not, right? It's a little bit iffy because I kind of do and I kind of don't. But it's not like an insane thing for me. I'd prefer if they weren't too easy, but if they are easy, look, it's not gonna kill the game for me, right? But yeah, I think X and Y are gonna sit A tier. Okay, next we're doing Sun and Moon. And Sun and Moon is weird for me, right? Because I was a little bit out of the Pokemon franchise during Sun and Moon, loosely. And I don't really remember. I played Moon, right? Not Sun. I played Moon, and I don't really remember it too well. I know I chose Incineroar because I loved how Litten looked. I know I had a Golduck. I know I had an Alolan Executor. I had a yellow Pokemon. I don't remember which one. It was yellow. I'm pretty sure it was a Jolteon, but I don't even know if you can get Jolteon in that game. And that's it. I don't remember any of my other Pokemon. I had a flying type. Don't know what flying type. I know I had both the native regional bird and another flying bird, and I evolved the regional bird into its final version. I think it's like Tuocan. And I was like, wow, this thing looks like shit, and I instantly put it in the PC box and never touched it again. I really dislike the hand holding in Moon and Sun. They're not particularly overly easy games, they're just kind of whatever. I just hate the huge amount of hand holding. There's so much fucking hand holding in these games, with cutscenes and stuff. And I'll also be honest, I hate the characters in Sun and Moon. They're fucking really, really, really annoying. Hao is the worst rival ever. He's really, really annoying, and every time he popped up, I wanted to hit him to fuck off. I just didn't care. Lily was also pretty annoying. She wasn't quite as bad as Hal. I think I more feel sorry for her. Whereas Hal I just hate, right? Whereas Lily, a small part of me feels sorry for her because of her mum. But I also kind of wish she wasn't in the game as much. The evil team, I don't even remember what the evil team was called, to be honest. I know Lucamine was there. She's okay. She kind of merged with the squid though, which is a little bit weird, but, you know. Whatever. Ultra Beasts was okay. I'll be honest, I didn't really like the addition of Ultra Beasts too much. I kind of just wish they would have left it as legendaries. It felt like I don't know, I kind of like I don't mind the multiverse aspect of it, but Ultra Beasts just kind of seemed like this weird thing. Like, why not just make them legendaries from a different... I don't know, it was just kind of like weird to me. Also, it doesn't really help. I actually don't really like any of the designs of the Ultra Beasts. The only Ultra Beast that I actually like is Lunala, and I'm actually not even too sure if it's an Ultra Beast or a legendary, I'll be completely honest. Red and Blue being in these games is pretty cool. I actually really like that, but I will say... One note real quick, I kind of want Pokemon games to stop putting Red and Blue in the games for a while. I will say I think it was actually a mistake that they were in Sun and Moon. It's not necessarily a mistake. I don't like that they're in Sun and Moon and Fire the, you know, Let's Go games like back to back. Like, that's too much Red and Blue. You have to keep Red, specifically Red, right? You have to keep Red as this really, really like end game thing that's really rare. And the fact that we got 2 reds at the end of the game back to back's kind of like very like that's like too much. Right? Before that, it was like, oh, he was there in 1998 and the year 2000, and then he came back in 2010, right? Like 10-year wait, and then we got him like, okay, 2016 and 2018 we got him again. It's a little bit, I don't know, that's like a bit of a side note, but I know I've been rambling for a while, so I think I'm going to put Moon, Sun and Moon, I think I'm going to put them B tier. And I think the main reason that they're B tier is because they're newer games, so they play better, but, you know, if Ruby and Sapphire were like newer, right? If they were like Alpha, Omega, Ruby, Sapphire, like they'd be totally above that. I just think they're older games that don't play quite as well. I will really quickly add a tier here though. How the fuck do I add a tier? Okay. Add a row below. Bing, bang. Oh, no, don't want to do that. Okay. We're gonna call this Haven't Played. That's what we're doing, because I have not played Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, because I didn't really enjoy Moon or Sun that much. They were just kind of okay middle of the pack games, and I went, I'm not buying the sequel, I just can't be fucked. So, I've never played them, so they're just going to sit there. Now, Let's Go games. Let's Go games, I will quickly say, I haven't finished the Let's Go games yet. I'm in the middle of playing them right now. I've just entered the Celadon gym, so I'm not very far into the game, so my opinions on these games might change. I know the Let's Go games are really easy, but because I refuse to... I've been playing these games kind of impatiently for some reason, and I really don't... I think it's because I had to catch 50 Pokemon to get the extra, like, good IV starters, and now I'm just kind of skipping as many gym battles as I can. I mean, not gym battles, trainer battles as I can, so I'm actually under-leveled in my current playthrough, so I haven't really noticed the difficulty aspect. I did at the start of the game, like I noticed how there wasn't a single trainer with 2 Pokemon that wasn't like a boss fight up until like after you beat the second gym. Like that's insane. Like none of the Nugget Bridge guys, I'm pretty sure all of them had like 1 Pokemon. I think it's weird that abilities are removed. I've heard the Elite Four and Champion are really easy. I kind of liked Jesse and Rocket being there. That's kind of cool. I like how the game looks aesthetically, to be honest, because, you know, I just like the Kanto region. I like Kanto as a whole, and I love, you know, the whole, you know, I get to really experience Lavender Town better and Pokemon Tower. I actually just came from that, you know, about 3 hours ago. I finished Lavender Town. So, you know, that's a bit fresh in my mind. So, I don't really know where to put these. I think I'm going to put them in B tier above Sun and Moon. Now, I was tempted to put them at my lowest A, but I don't really know what to do with these two, because I like them, but I think I like them more for the fact that they're Kanto, rather than, like, I think there's like things about the game that I dislike, so I'm really weird. Like, a part of me wants to put them, like, maybe even above Emeralds, but I actually haven't finished the game yet, so I'm gonna, like, wait a bit. I'm not gonna jump the gun, so yeah. This Pokemon Let's Go and Pikachu and Eevee are really subject to change. They could go up, they could... I don't really think they're going to go down. They might go beneath Sun and Moon, but I don't think they're going to go any further. So I think B tier is a pretty, like, safe estimate. Okay, and they just realized as well I haven't placed Pokemon Yellow anywhere. I've never played Pokemon Yellow, actually. I started playing it when I was, like, 11 on a really shitty Game Boy that I had. And I just never finished it, so I actually have no idea where to put it. Although I will say, I think I'm going to put it under Red and Blue. Just because to me, Red and Blue is like the definitive Pokemon game. I mean, like definitive Kanto. Like you start with like a Charmander and stuff, you don't really start with a Pikachu. So I think for that reason alone, they're going to go underneath, because I've just never really played them. Okay, we're about to come in with another hot take now. A lot of people are going to disagree with this, but fuck it, it's my list. Last hot take to end it off, right? I think that'd be a good way to end the video. Sword and Shield at A tier. I really like Sword and Shield. I'm actually tempted to put them in S tier, to be completely honest. You know what? Actually, do I want... You know what? Fuck it, they're S tier. I actually really enjoy those games. I would say, you know the reason I'm going to say they're A? Because... S tier, because they're my third favorite games. My favorite games are like Heart Gold, then Platinum, then Sword and Shield. Fuck, do I want to put them over Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby? Ooh, that's I'm v- mm, I'm very tempted to do that. I'll think about it while I talk about them, but I love Sword and Shield. I love that they're, Generation 8. I love all the new UI changes. I'm pleasantly surprised that I like a decent amount of the newer Pokemon. A lot of the Pokemon designs in Unova and Alola specifically, I didn't really like. I think Kalos had some pretty good ones, but it wasn't still as quite as strong as the original four. And while I don't think Sword and Shield are as quite as strong as the original four either, actually, I kind of like them. I will say, I don't really like the starter Pokemon. I like Cinderace and its evolutions because pretty much they were the only option, and I grew attached to them because I started to enjoy them more, like as I continued to play through the game, and I grew attached to them. But I think both Karuki and Sobble are pretty garbage Pokemon, to be honest. I don't know. I don't really like how those, like, Karuki looks okay. Its evolutions look kind of shit. Sobble looks okay. Its evolutions look kind of shit. I don't know. Not really a fan of the starter Pokemon. There's some other really cool stuff. I really, really like the wild area. I think the wild area is dope as fuck. The fact that I can walk around and just see, a huge Snorlax and a huge Lapras or Gyarados, all that shit's really cool. I also say I got personally really lucky because I yes, there's issues with this game with the national decks. I understand that, but I got lucky because a lot of the Pokemon that I still really like were in the base game. Actually, you know what? I'll be honest with you. 4 out of the 6 Pokemon that I used in this playthrough were from Generation 1 and 2. I had Cinderace and Corviknight. Actually, I will say as well, Corviknight's probably one of the best regional birds since Staraptor, I would say. Um, yeah, I think it beats Talonflame. So yeah, I had those two, and then I had 2 Evolutions, both Jolteon and Espeon. And then I had Gyarados, and then I told you a lie, it was only 3. I actually had Noivern as my 6th Pokemon. And actually, that made me really attached to Noivern. I always thought Noivern's design was kind of cool, like watching him in the anime and stuff, but I never, like, super got into the Kalos anime. I always thought he was, like, a kind of a cool Pokemon, and then I was playing the game, and I was like, man, I really need, like, a 6th Pokemon. I was like, I kind of don't want to do Snorlax. I don't want to have, like, 4 Pokemon from Kanto and Johto. So you know what? Fuck, I'm gonna give Noivern a try. And Noivern was actually really, really cool. It's probably one of my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon. I'll be honest. I think it's literally only beaten by Greninja, and that's by pretty slim mile. Noivern's really cool. I think definitely as well the wild area is like I know you can see the Pokemon walking around in Pikachu and Eevee, but I think it's done much better in X and Y. I love the competitive side. Oh, sorry, not X and Y. Sword and Shield. I love the competitive side of Sword and Shield. That all looks really, really cool. Dynamaxing, I'm actually presently surprised about. I really didn't like Z moves. To be honest, I thought Z moves were kind of fucking lame. I still prefer Mega Pokemon, but I was pleasantly surprised by how much I actually enjoy Dynamaxing, which is cool. I'm probably a little bit biased as well because I really like Sword and Shield because I get to use Charizard and Venusaur and Torkoal and Garchomp. Not Garchomp. Garchomp's not in the game at the moment, but I like some of the newer games, meta games, because in X and Y and Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, Charizard and its Mega Evolutions were pretty cool. And then, like, they were, I mean, not pretty good, like, they were good. You could use them. They were solid OU Pokemon. You could use them. And then, obviously, you can do the exact same thing with Gigantamax and Dynamax Charizard and Torkoal and then Chlorophyll Venusaur. You can just do some really cool shit. And I get to use a lot of the Pokemon that I really like. Yeah, I think that's actually, and because, that's probably a little bit of an underrated thing for me. I actually don't think I've noticed. I actually really like the metagame of these recent Pokemon games, like, way more than the older games. Like, Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, like, Hoenn, they didn't have, like, the craziest metagames. I definitely wouldn't have enjoyed playing Universe metagames. All the recent ones are actually pretty fun. Anyway, back to Sword and Shield. I got a little bit off topic. Really like the characters. Nessa and Sonya are really fucking cool. Really like. I'm surprisingly by how much I like. Fuck me, I've forgotten the name of my rival. The rival in this game. I started off really disliking him. I was like, fuck, he's literally another Hal. He's so annoying. I actually kind of grew to like him. How he has a lot of self-doubt, and he has to deal with the fact that his brother's the champion, and like he's not as good as his brother. That was actually kind of cool. I actually kind of started to enjoy him to more the end. Pop, that was him. To where I would say, honestly, I think Hop's probably fourth. I prefer Silver, I prefer Blue, I prefer Barry. Yeah, fuck it. I think Hop would be like my fourth favorite rival. Um, I really liked the Champion as well. I thought the Champion was dope as fuck. I thought the Champion had a great team. Obviously, he picks your starter at the end. He's a Haxorus. I really like the fact that he has a Charizard. That was just like dope. Like Charizard's just a cool Pokemon. And he was, he wasn't like Lance. He wasn't only Dragon type. He wasn't only Steel. He wasn't only Water. He wasn't only Fairy. He was a bit like Cynthia in the regards of the fact that he just kind of used a bunch of different Pokemon, and I think that's really cool. I think that's how you make some of the best champions in the game. I will say also, last note, I fucking loved the stadium aspect of the gym battles and the championship. That shit was crazy. I love the gym battles. And you know what's insane? I prefer this Pokemon League over any other Pokemon League because, for the sole reason, it feels like the Pokemon League from the anime. In every other Pokemon game, all of the Pokemon Leagues have been very different to, the the Pokemon game, the anime, right? In the anime, Ash doesn't go ahead and verse the Elite Four. He doesn't challenge Cynthia or anything like that. He gets swept by Cynthia, right? He versus other regular trainers. And the fact that was, like a tournament, like a bracket style thing, right? And the fact that was emulated in Sword and Shield is fucking insane. That made the game S tier for me. The very end being so fun, where I was like literally like, holy shit, I'm in the anime, I'm back to being a 10-year-old kid. I loved it. Couldn't get enough of it. I absolutely fucking loved it. Yeah. Obviously it's not regular trainers. You have your rivals, and then the gym leader, and then the champion, but it was still like a dope as fuck, little thing. Really, really like it. And I know Black and White has a similar thing, or maybe it's Black and White too. Yeah, I think it's Black and White too, and Red's even there, where you get to verse all the old gym leaders and stuff, but that was like an optional like post-game thing. That wasn't quite as... And honestly, the stage kind of looked like shit, to be honest, like where it was. But I love Sword and Shield. I think they're some of the best Pokemon games. I think people hate on them all way too much. I think if you hate on Sword and Shield because the trees aren't there, that's just fucking dog shit. Like, obviously, I think Pokemon games need more development time, in all honesty. Yeah, they just need more development time. Like, obviously, they just keep getting pumped out really quickly. I don't really like how... there's not the full national dex, but it's not game-ending for me. Especially because in a lot of Pokemon games, you don't really get the national dex throughout the main playthrough. So you just don't get it throughout the main playthrough at all, in all honesty. So I can still enjoy Sword and Shield even once I get to the post-game. There's no national dex Pokemon. I will say, obviously, I think the post-game for Sword and Shield isn't very good. You just kind of go around to gyms and defeat the Dynamax Pokemon. It's not great. I will say I actually really enjoyed the main story. I actually really like that there's no evil team in Sword and Shield. I think that evil teams are just really overrated, and I'm kind of glad they're not here. Also, it's another thing with Pokemon Moon and Sun. I hated the evil team for that game. I thought it was pretty shit. There was no redeeming aspect about it at all. Whereas, in X and Sword and Shield, it's really good, You don't actually have Team-wise an antagonist. You have the chairman, and it's really, really cool. And this plan is really cool, and there's still images, even though some people made fun of, haha, it's a still frame. Bro, the artwork was cool as fuck. You're tripping, man. That shit was cool. And obviously you get the end boss fight against, I'm forgetting his name, but like the fucking hand. I'm blanking on his name, but you know what I mean. The big final fight where you get to use the two dogs. And then you don't actually get the dogs until the post-game. That was really cool. I love how the dogs were handled too, how you saw them right at the start of the game, and they're really cool Misty Meadow. I'll also say real quick, I haven't played any of the DLC for Sword and Shield yet. I just haven't gotten around to buying them. I'm going to do that after I beat Let's Go and Eevee. So, I haven't, been able to catch all, like, Rayquaza and Mewtwo and all that, and Blastoise and Venusaur. I haven't been able to, get the new electric, new Regis. But, yeah, I think Sword and Shield is S tier for me. And with that, I think I'm actually going to wrap the edit video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know there might be a few controversial takes, maybe with, mainly with Gen 6, Gen 8, and Gen 5, but, at the end of the day, it's my opinion. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If you didn't, that's cool. I'm happy to see all, if you guys want to leave any comments, talk about, what games you enjoy. I would be genuinely really curious. I always like seeing other people's opinions on, like, games and shit like that. You know, I probably should have said that in the zombies video, but I didn't. Yeah, actually, I had a lot of fun making this. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.